Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the Morning Mindset. If you're new with us today, I want to welcome you. This is potentially a providential moment for you because today we are facing one of the biggest questions that every human being on the planet needs to face. And that is the question of who is Jesus? Maybe you've been wondering that. Maybe you've been curious about him all your life, but you've never really known how to dig into the reality of who Jesus is. Well, today we are going to go there. We're looking at John chapter 10, verses 19 and 20. John 10, 19 and 20. Let's read it together. There was again a division among the Jews because of these words. Many of them said, "He has a demon and is insane. Why listen to him?" Others said, "These are not the words of one who is oppressed by a demon. Can a demon open the eyes of the blind?" Now, friends, what we have here is a debate, kind of an internal argument that's going on between the members of the Jewish leading class at the time. They were spiritual leaders, Pharisees, Sadducees, the high priests. They were all, at this point, divided about who Jesus was because Israel had been hoping for its Messiah for hundreds of years, had been waiting on him to arrive, and there had been many false messiahs as well. So these religious leaders became quite skeptical and also quite protective of the flock of Israel. They did not want people being led astray by some fake Messiah. And we've got to hand it to them. That's a diligent attitude. That is a good thing for them to be doing. But when Jesus came on the scene, he was different than those other so-called messiahs. He was the real deal, or at least that's what he claimed. And these religious leaders are debating amongst themselves, trying to figure it out. Now, some of them, who for whatever reason are feeling opposed to Jesus at the moment, claim he's demon-possessed and he's insane. They shouldn't be listening to him. Now, why would they go all the way to the extreme of him being demon-possessed? Well, because he has been doing some supernatural things. He's been healing people. He's been casting out demons. And we're going to see coming up in chapter 11, he's even going to raise some people from the dead. And so these supernatural things that were going on had to have some sort of explanation. And if they're not going to admit he is at least a leading prophet from God with the power of God behind him, or the actual Messiah they've been waiting for, they've got to say something else about these supernatural things. And so they're saying he's demon-possessed. He's insane. Why should we be listening to him? See, they're trying to demonize him, so to speak, and write him off in that regard. But others among them are saying, these are not the words of one who is oppressed by a demon. So in other words, the things Jesus is teaching are inspiring and deep and full of wisdom. How can we say that that's coming from a person who is possessed by a demon? And also, they say, can a demon open the eyes of the blind? So they're speaking about a man who was just healed in a previous section of this chapter. And so this division that's going on among these religious leaders, to me, is a picture of what happens in our society day after day after day. People debate who Jesus is. There's some who will write liberal and crazy articles about him saying he wasn't really who the Gospels portray him to be. And then there's others who are, honestly, I think like the second group of people, asking honest questions about who was he? Did he really do these amazing things? And if so, how can we ignore that? How can we even read his teaching and say he wasn't from God at the very least? And if he was from God and he's speaking such truthful things, then maybe what he said about himself was true as well, that he was the Messiah. So friends, I want to ask you, have you been asking the question, who is Jesus? Maybe you've answered that for yourself and you've placed your faith in Jesus Christ and you have learned from experience he is indeed who he says he is. Well, friends, I'm going to pray for you in a moment that you will be stronger in that conviction as the days of your life go on. But maybe you're in a place where you're still not sure. You've not taken the time to investigate. Well, friends, stick with us here at the Morning Mindset. We're going through this Gospel of John. so that we can understand who Jesus said he was and who he really is in our lives today. Lord Jesus, I do pray for my brothers and sisters who know that Jesus is the Messiah come in the flesh. I pray you would strengthen their faith and you'd give them deeper and lasting conviction that they can live more and more as Jesus would live day after day. And for those who are questioning and unsure, I ask you, Lord, to reveal yourself to them. It's really that simple. You can show yourself to them. So I ask you to do that. In your great name, I pray. And don't forget that Morning Mindset Media also provides other podcasts, including a Christian parenting podcast, a Christian marriage podcast, and soon a Christian history podcast. You can find out more at morningmindsetmedia.com.